Hi, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone, wherever you're watching this from. We have an exciting webinar today around what's new in the QuestionPro Research Suite. I have a very talented group of people here with me today. Welcome to the webinar. And so we have Jill here, who is Director of DigSite, and she's going to be talking about some features and functionality that we're coming out with there. And then we also have Nick, who is the Director of Insights Hub, and he will be talking about some new happenings in Insights Hub from a product perspective and kind of a forward-looking view as well. So the agenda today, we'll talk about discovering the QuestionPro Research Suite. We'll talk about AI and next-gen research and how we think about that. We'll also do a product showcase around what's new, sort of what's coming out a little bit in each of the different product lines, and then we'll have an open Q&A session. Now, for the open Q&A session, you can either put it in the comments of wherever you're watching this on, and we will get it. We'll display it live. I know some people also submitted questions beforehand, so we have some of those as well. We'll plan to go for about 45 minutes today, and then take some time for questions, and that will be the plan for today. So to kick it off, I want to just give everyone an overview of the research suite and where everything fits in. So we have the Research Edition survey platform, which is a powerful platform that has everything from advanced logic, question types, and on the analysis side as well, we have everything that you need. It's really the top tier enterprise research edition survey license that we have. We also have a communities platform where you can get a group of your community members or panel members inside of a platform that's built out for not only engagement, but also different activities that you can use as a researcher to really get those insights that you're after. We also have DigSite, which is an asynchronous communities platform. Think 2 to 3 day studies that you can derive more qualitative insights out of, and we can do everything from end to end. So I know Jill will be talking more about that. And we have Insights Hub, which is a data repository knowledge management platform where you can have all your data inside of this platform, use it to explore, search, and discover all of those insights that you have. And Nick will be talking about this. And then we also have a services team that, if you need help or support, or you want us to do everything, we can do everything from programming to end-to-end research, questionnaire development to reporting. And then last but not least, we have an audience platform and also different panels that we have where we can essentially, if you don't have respondents, we can find them for you in a variety of different criteria and everything from B to C. So these are all things that we can do underneath the Research Suite footprint. And what I wanted to talk about today is a product showcase. So we'll be talking about the majority of these in some capacity. So to get right into it, I want to start up the discussion today around AI and next-gen research and how we see this fitting in. We'll give a kind of a brief overview. Last month, Samir and I talked pretty extensively about AI and next-gen and what we're doing there. So we can definitely, if you want to know more, definitely refer back to that one for more in depth. This time, I just want to give a good overview of it and then how we're thinking about it, as you'll see it kind of sprinkled into some of the updates as we move along. So QuestionPro's AI vision, essentially it starts with efficiency. Really the reason that you have any AI or ChatGPT or generative AI, whatever you want to call it, is for efficiency and to reduce the time frame from getting from idea to insights. And this is something that we focus a lot on and think a lot about in terms of how can we help you and ensure insights teams can focus on building transformation roadmaps and not waste time with mundane tasks that kind of run of the mill, the things that you have to do but aren't necessarily that fruitful. I mean, maybe they are at the time, but they don't produce like these great results. And we'll go through what I mean by some of those things. But what can we do to reduce that time is something we're thinking a lot about, both on the the creation side and then also on the analysis side as well. And really, not only what can you do to save time, but also just drive deeper insights in terms of next-gen research, thinking and looking at emerging trends and being on the cutting edge of research innovation. And really, how can we help you get those additional insights that you might not get just by looking at the data or be another set of eyes in a lot of the tasks and things you're doing when it comes to insights, right? So You might have the human element, which I don't think will ever go away, but using AI and some of the generative AI that is there, we can help you with maybe uncovering some of those insights that you didn't see right away, or even confirming some of those things. And with efficiency and deeper insights, we believe that you're future ready. And what I mean by this is on the left-hand side, you can see this long list of tasks, and some of these take 1 to 3 days, some take 1 to 3 weeks, but in a typical research study, these are all the different things that you need to think about. So this could be months and months and months. Whereas when you can utilize QuestionPro's AI tools with survey development, coding open ends, reading and summarizing text, and cleaning and harmonizing data to prepare for analysis, these are things that you can really cut down the amount of time. And one of the things that we always preach about, I brought it up earlier today, is that speed to insights. How can we help you get to those insights more quickly? And this is something that we can do leveraging these AI tools that we have currently and that we're also planning to build in the future. So from days to weeks to months, we can get you down to minutes and days in those cases where it would take months and months. So on average, depending on the length and complexity and other factors, a research study can take the 4 to 24 weeks, as I mentioned, when using traditional tools, and we can get that down, obviously, into minutes, if not days. So those are a lot of the things we're focusing on. And what does this look like practically, right? So what are some of these features that I'm talking about? Well, on the research edition side, it's AI generated surveys. So essentially, you can type into your prompt with QXBot. You can type in the type of survey that you want, and then be as specific as possible. And I'll show you an example here coming up, and then it'll create that survey using generative AI. And you can select what you want. You can always go in and add to the survey. One of the things that I like to do is I get the equivalent of like writer's block. I call it survey writer's block when I'm creating surveys. And I like to go in and just have it produce a question for me for something that I just may be stuck on, or I want to use alternative wording. It's something that works really well. In addition to that, generative AI is not just words, it's also images. So we're using QXBot image generator. So I'm leveraging some of those technologies there that have this generative image creation, and using it for backgrounds and different things like that. So those are some things you'll see. Using it in dashboards to automatically create the dashboard in a way that makes sense with the data, as well as pulling out some of those nuggets of information. And our Discover platform that we have, it's open-ended analysis, and I'll get more into this coming up, but really leveraging not only from a sentiment and point of view, but also from a categorical analysis and coding point of view too, that will really help out. And of course, leveraging it for data quality with gibberish open ends and plagiarism detection, things like that is something that we're focused on the research edition side. Now on the communities and DigSite side, obviously with video discussions, helping to summarize those, bring out those key nuggets. Same thing with summarizing topics. So we have a topics module, which is like an online bulletin board discussion within communities that members can participate in, using it to summarize those topics and bubble up the key insights. Like, it's hard to sift through all that data to code it, but with some of these technologies and AI that we're coming out with, you'll be able to summarize those topics. And similar on DigSite as well, where you have a lot of these conversations and things going on in the analysis. We want to give you those insights right away, and those are some things that we'll be leveraging as well. And then Insights Hub, I know Nick will talk more about this, so I won't belabor the point here, but there's a lot of ways you can leverage AI to really get into those knowledge management repositories, find the data you're looking for, and help put together some of those actionable insights there. So that's a quick overview of our AI footprint and how we're viewing it, some of the functionality we're coming out with, and so forth. So just wanted to make sure that was clear. Again, if you have questions, go ahead and put it in the Q&A in whatever platform you're viewing this on, and we can definitely answer those at the end here. So I want to talk about Research Edition and some of the features and functionality that we've been getting into the platform over the past few months here. And I'll talk about QXBot Survey Generator a little bit more in depth. I'll talk about the Discover platform, age verification, crosstab enhancements, and then visual mode too, which is an exciting new feature that we've been working on here. So QXBot Survey Generator, as I mentioned, this is where you can type into a prompt, as you'll see in this GIF here, around whatever topic you want. You can get very detailed, obviously with generative AI, everyone, there's prompt engineering now, and definitely like good guides to prompts and so forth. So you can put that in there and it'll generate the questions for you, a mix of single choice and multi-select and open-ended questions. You can also include demographics automatically as well. And it'll come up with these questions and it'll add it to your workspace. So then you can go and edit it. You can add more questions, but essentially this reduces the time that you need to create the survey. Again, in reducing that overall amount of time to complete studies. That's what we're after. So this is the QXBot survey generator that we have and that we're leveraging here. And again, we'll continue to add to this, but this is something that we got out very early on, earlier this year, and have been continuing to iterate and provide additional benefits to our clients here. We've already seen, heard from a number of clients that have really reduced the amount of time that they've previously had to do when creating surveys, and they've really been utilizing this. So this is something that is available inside of the Research Edition currently. And another one that I wanted to talk about is Discover. So Discover is an AI platform that you can use to surface trend lines, word clouds from large groups of data into open-ended surveys. So you have these open-ended questions that you need to then obviously categorize and get into maybe some sentiment and start to utilize some of this data so that way you can make sense of it and code it and so forth. And this is what we can do automatically. So essentially we have different industries you can choose from airlines to retail to generic. There's about 5 or 6 different libraries that we're training right now. And it's a simple point and click where you say, hey, I want this question. And then we go in, run our analysis on it and put it into different categories. So in this case, you can see on the right-hand side that it's essentially it's for airlines. And we have that I put it into these different categories from staff, food and beverage to cabin comfort, all of the different categories that you would expect when including an open end in a survey about airlines. And then we went through and you can put sentiment to each of these different categories. You can also source it and break it down by different groups as well and start to compare those different groups across each other. And again, it helps out with reducing the amount of time that you need for coding and helping to get those insights. So this is a platform that we are excited about. We also have, in addition to AI and some of these other things that I had mentioned, we also are very focused on security and compliance there. So we have this new functionality. It's age verification, really for COPA compliance and other compliances as well. But essentially, this will enable you to screen people before they get into the survey for age, right? So there are some complex requirements here because in addition to just seeing how old they are, one of the key factors and requirements that one of our clients, who was a pretty big sponsor of this question type for us, said, I don't even want to know, I don't want to collect any of that data. I just want to know, we just need to ask this question and then let them into the survey if they say that they are. Obviously, if you're dealing with sensitive subjects with tobacco or alcohol, or even in the gaming industry where people need to be above a certain age to play a game, these are criteria that you need to take into account of, are they old enough to view some of the content. So this is the age verification tool. It's vital for restricting access for that inappropriate content and maintaining compliance with online privacy laws. So this is something that is available. You can apply it to all your surveys. You can apply it to just one. So there's an array of different options there in terms of how you want to roll it out at your company. But this is something that we've worked on pretty extensively here. And then cross tabs. So we've been doing a lot of work in cross tabs to not only improve the functionality that we currently have, but also to expand it. And one of these things is to show hide an option in a group so that it doesn't show up in the cross tab. So you may have a bunch of different options. You only want to show certain ones and you want to hide different rows and things like that. This is what you can do. So you can create the groups. You can choose to show or hide different options within the groups or hide different groups. So that way on your cross tab, you can customize exactly the rows or columns that you want to show. So these are some options and things that we're thinking about. There'll be more improvements coming up on cross tabs. And it's interesting to me that we have AI and we're doing a lot of advancements and innovation in the space. Cross tabs has been around for as long as I can remember, as long as I've been in research, and yet it's a tried and true method that researchers rely on. So it's something that we're continuing to improve on while we're also doing other innovative things as well, not losing that core functionality that we have. And then finally on the research side, we've been working on this new concept called visual mode, and really a way to engage respondents in completing the survey that also mirrors brand and brand guidelines as well. So in this case, it's about a travel survey here, and you can see that it really mirrors that overall look and feel. This allows for new themes, layouts. You can have question-specific visuals too. So this background can change from question to question. The look and feel can change from question to question. And this is where we're also leveraging some of that generative AI from an image standpoint, the image generation, to create some of these backgrounds for you. So if you don't have a background, but you want it to be about XYZ, whatever that example is, the image generator will generate the image and you can plug it into your background easily from question to question. So this is something to make it the look and feel of a survey a lot better. And then also, again, to match some of those brand guidelines as well. And I just want to talk about a few of the things that we're doing on communities and what we're leveraging there. So we've worked on some enhanced sampling filtering, some badges module upgrade to help out with engagement, clickable carousels to help out with really leveraging external links inside of the member portal and helping you drive traffic to those. And then community app improvements. I see the app as a big differentiator for us. And this is something that we've been continuing to leverage improvements here. And then to summarize topics, as I mentioned, I'll talk a little bit more about this, but this is essentially using AI here. So enhanced sample filtering, this is something where you can create different groups or segments within your communities, within your community. And we have equals, not equals, and essentially now we have the not answered. So anyone that hasn't answered either specific questions, profile fields, surveys, you can choose to include those in a group. And where this really helps out is to identify maybe people that need to complete profile fields or those that didn't answer in a certain way on a question, or that haven't answered a survey and you want to target those folks for maybe an additional survey or an alternative survey. These are really an array of powerful filtering options that we have within the communities platform. And this goes across the entire communities platform in terms of leveraging it for surveys or broadcast emails, whatever you want to do, you can use these filtering options to do that. And then the badges module revamp. So badges has been around for a long time. We're currently revamping the module, not only from a UI perspective, but again, also from a functionality perspective of being able to import your own badges in, being able to say, hey, what do you want that badge to be for? And then also to allocate, the correct number of points to it, and really to allow for customability and branding within the badges inside of a community. And these are all things that you can do. So based on different actions, you can apply these badges based on points, whatever those actions are. We want to allow you to do that. And this is something that we're currently revamping, really as a way to help increase engagement in a community. Sure, you have points and you can redeem those for rewards. Those are great things. But with the badges module revamp, this is something that you can use to really increase the engagement in your community, and also use it as a branding and exercise, and really help those respondents and members inside of your community feel engaged and want to collect these different badges. So really playing on some of those both intrinsic and extrinsic reward factors there, I would say. So this is something that we are enrolling. There's a couple phases that are out now, and more will be rolled out in the coming months here. We also have the clickable carousel. So what this is you can have different images inside of your member portal. And what this allows you to do is have links that are associated with those. So If you want to take people that are inside of your community, they can click on the link and then it'll take them to an external website. This is the way that you can do it. Many of our clients had requested this, so we got this into the platform. And it's just a way to increase the branding, the functionality within the community, so you can effectively drive the targeted traffic to these different sites that you want them to see. In addition, we made a lot of improvements to the community app. So you can see on the right-hand side here, this is a new dashboard UI that we have, where it provides real-time updates, including the number of new surveys, latest topics, ideas, and quick polls inside of the app. And again, this app can be branded to the community's overall look and feel. It can be uploaded into the community. We have a number that we have for specific clients. That app can be searchable. They download the app directly in there, and we take care of all of that process. And so in addition to the new dashboard UI, we also have new notifications. So including if there's new topics, comments, likes, dislikes, voting on ideas. These are all ways that we can help increase the amount of traffic that gets routed to the app, and also the engagement. So that's one of the things that I really love about the app, is it also mimics members' experience that they have on outside social media platforms as well. And we want this app to essentially mirror some of those things, where it can drive engagement through those different banner notifications, those push notifications, and so forth. Well, at the same time, we improve the login flow as well, and then really the ability to log in different ways, and also increase the security around logging in and the security of the app overall. So the communities app is definitely something that you can leverage if it's not something that you're currently leveraging, either in an existing QuestionPro community or in a community that you have outside of QuestionPro. Definitely reach out to us. We can always guide you on the best ways there. And then finally, I mentioned this is something that we're currently working on, is the summarizing topics using AI. Oftentimes there's 20, 30, even sometimes hundreds of different topics within a community that members have responded to and engaged with. We want to use this this functionality rather. Using AI will quickly summarize the key points, the nuggets of information that that come out of those topics, allowing you to really get those insights from this open-ended data that we have. So this is something that you can utilize, or will be able to utilize. And it's exciting because, again, it reduces that speed to insights, that time down pretty significantly, because you don't have to sift through all the answers. The AI and the modeling will do that for you. So this is summarized topics. I'll talk more about this in an upcoming webinar once it's fully released, but I wanted to give everybody a sneak peek here on some of the different ways that we're thinking about AI within the individual product lines. And I think with that, I'll turn it over to Nick. Nick, you want to talk about Insights Hub here?
Yep. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Awesome. Yeah, I was going to say a quick note that crosstab note you made is so true. It's still the first place I go. I use a lot of these more advanced tools, but it's like the quickest initial snapshot. So cool to see you guys are still working on that.
Yeah, it is true. It's like people want the new, but they want the old as well. So
yeah, you want the new, but you don't want to give up the old, and you don't have
exactly,
to.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So Insights Hub has come a long ways. This year has been, a lot about AI. It just has for everybody. So we've really thought a lot about what Dan opened up this conversation with. We've thought a lot about that as it regards Insights Hub, as it regards Insights repositories generally. Just as a reminder, Insights Hub is an Insights repository, a knowledge management platform for insight specifically. So it empowers quick access to insights through a very powerful search bar that that to my knowledge, we don't have across some of our other apps. Insights Hub is really a place to save narrative kind of, I say like kind of sentence insights. We call them key findings, like one sentence that may not come out of a survey dashboard or come out of a raw data set, but you've looked at the data, you've developed a key finding, something you're sure, hey, this is true. 51% of people say this or think this about this product. Insights Hub is a place where you can save that. And then also where you can use AI increasingly to recall that information when you need it the most, and ideally, hopefully, in the format you need it the most. And then lastly, democratizing and sharing data across your organization. Insights Hub, any anybody at that company is allowed to come into the platform free of charge and look at all of the insights that your team has generated. On the next slide, we're going to kind of showcase one of our newest, or I'm going to feature one of our newest features, which is called Ask AI. So this is a module or a kind of a portal inside of Insights Hub where you can ask a question of your data conversationally. So we had a search bar, we still have a search bar. I use the search bar if I know what I'm looking for. But in this case, you can see on the screen there, I asked my Insights Hub, do we have research on teens? Maybe I'm working at a company that's producing a product or delivering a service targeted at teen consumers. I asked that question, and then this is what it came back with. And this tool has read or indexed all of the data that I've uploaded and added to my Insights Hub. So this answer that comes out is an answer that it's basically decided is the best answer to this question based on what it knows. Now, I think it's true for all of us. Sometimes these AI tools surprise us with their answers. Sometimes I'll ask the same question slightly differently, and I'll get a significantly different answer. So this is going to be something organizations are going to really have to kind of commit to and adopt if they're going to expect to start to see results. AI is just not going to work for you right out of the box. Obviously, with Insights Hub, the more data you put into your Insights Hub, the better those answers are going to be from any kind of AI bot. So I'm pretty excited about this. It's just a way for you to like effortlessly query conversationally your whole data set, everything from your raw data sets to maybe a story that you've written inside of Insights Hub about what your team has been learning. So exciting stuff. Next slide. Bulk import. So it's a very simple feature, but it's really important for our users to get as much data as they can inside of Insights Hub. As I was saying, the AI tools, all of these new tools, they really benefit you to the degree that you're willing to give it as much data as you can. So these bulk import tools or repositories, as we call them, is a really quick way to drag and drop like maybe an entire file hierarchy or 1,000 files at a time into Insights Hub. Insights Hub will index all of that very quickly. And then same day, you can start to ask questions about that data through our search bar or through the Ask AI tool. But first step, of course, is getting that data into Insights Hub. So even if your data is a little bit unstructured, even if it's a little messy, I've seen a lot of really messy shared drives full of insights, PowerPoints, PDFs, raw data sets. Just drag that into Insights Hub and then begin the process of kind of curating that, organizing that once it's in the platform, because those AI tools are going to help you to be able to do that. Next slide. I think there's one more. So analyzing raw data sets. This is something it's brand new and it's still kind of a work in progress for us. Excited to showcase this. When you open Insights Hub, you have an option now to pull up a list of all of your QuestionPro surveys. This is from our surveys product, our surveys app. It'll show you all of your surveys in the portal. You select a survey that you want to analyze. It pulls in the survey dashboard, same way you're familiar with it in QuestionPro surveys. It's the same look, same feel, same colors for now. And then on the right-hand side, as you can see there's a search bar or a conversation bar really to ask AI about that data set. Now, in this case, that AI by AI feature is kind of confined to just this data set. It's not going to pull in information from across your other surveys or your other files that you've uploaded. This is about getting data or getting insights, I should say, from this data set. Now, of course, obviously, there's a lot of insights right there in that dashboard. And that's going to be valuable for researchers, whether they're using the AI tools or not. But what we're working on, even this morning, I had a big meeting about it, is getting this AI tool on the right-hand side there to give really, really good, accurate answers to your questions about specific data sets. Things like, how many males versus females took this survey, or what was the average age of the person that took this survey. The way that AI analyzes raw data sets is pretty cool. I think there's a lot of work to be done, but getting, it's a trial and error process. So getting this in your Insights Hub, getting people to start using this way of querying their data sets is going to make this AI tool work a lot better for really all of our Insights Hub customers over time. So really, really excited about that. Kind of falls right in line with what Dan was talking about, using AI to make things a lot faster that previously, literally took days or weeks to get done.
Awesome. No, that's great. Yeah, definitely will make things faster. And how cool is it? You can just ask questions of your data without having to like dig into it. You can just quickly type something out and it's there.
Yes.
So that's awesome.
Yep.
Cool. Thank you, Nick. All right. Jill, you want to come on and talk about DigSite and all the improvements we're making there?
Sure, that sounds great. Thanks, Dan. So I'm very excited to be here today to talk about DigSite because we've just passed the 1-year anniversary of QuestionPro acquiring DigSite. And for the past year, DigSite has been living kind of in its original form. And next week, we're going to be launching DigSite 2.0, which is the DigSite version that has been incorporated into the research, the QuestionPro research suite. So let's go to the next slide. So DigSite is our agile qualitative research tool. And as Dan mentioned, DigSite is we typically run 2 to 3 day asynchronous communities. The studies are typically about really drilling in to understand consumers' pain points, explore new ideas, explore new products or services, explore advertising, packaging, exploring in-store experience, exploring online experience. So it's really digging deeply into all those types of topics. And so this is it. Oh, and then the other thing to note, which Dan also mentioned, is that there's really a range of ways that you can use as a client DigSite. So it can be some clients work with DigSite as almost completely a DIY tool where they're trained and they just run with it and are able to use it on their own. And then we have go all the way to full service, where many of our clients, we just meet with them, they share their business issue, and then we take the study from there, designing the guide, moderating the discussion, and then delivering a top line report with insights and recommendations at the end. So this slide is just talking about some examples of the types of tasks that we have in the DigSite tool. We have open-ended discussions. We have idea markups where participants can mark up what they like and dislike and put comments in about whatever idea we're sharing with them. We've got a voting task. We've got a fill-in-the-blank task, which is kind of like a Mad Lib style question. And these are all different engaging tasks to keep our participants enjoying and having fun, and also to kind of direct them in ways that will allow them to go deeper with their responses. I think we can go to the next slide. Okay, so in addition to those question examples that I just shared, we can also collect unmoderated video. So we can have ask participants to record a 2 to 3 minute video answering a particular question. We can also link to doing actually live IDIs as part of a study. And then we also often, in almost all of our studies, we do photo sharing tasks where participants will share a photo telling how they feel about a topic or showing an example of how they do something in their own home. So these really help us add both an ethnographic element and also just another element of being able to see and hear directly from those consumers. And we also have the ability to generate clip reels from the IDIs or the video responses that participants share. So one of the great things about DigSite is the interactive smart dashboard that we have. So as the study continues, clients can go in and click on the smart dashboard, and allows them to see the responses that are coming in from the study as the study continues. So you're able to see the closed-ended questions, you're able to see the quotes from the participants, and then you're able to filter that dashboard. So you can filter that dashboard by certain segments, you can filter the dashboard by responses to certain questions. So that allows you to slice and dice the data as the study continues. So it's a little bit quali-quant in that you're able to do some of those things you might do in quant, but do it with your qualitative research. So that's a really great tool. And then what you can do is you can download that smart dashboard, and it downloads into a PowerPoint file. And that PowerPoint file is completely editable. So you can take that PowerPoint file and share it with your internal team, and it allows you to share a really high level top line of everything you've seen in your study. And typically what we do is when we're moderating a study, we will go through and pin the key quotes from any of the questions like open ends or fill in the blank tasks. For each question, we'll pin 4 or 5 of the key quotes that sort of show representative comments or most insightful comments. And then when that smart dashboard is downloaded, which you can download it as soon as you can download it anytime, but typically we download it after the study's complete. So what we'll do is deliver that smart dashboard with the pinned quotes to our clients 24 hours after the study has closed. So it's very unusual to have a really nice synopsis of qualitative research so quickly after a study is completed. That's one of the things I love about DigCite, and the fact that then that document can easily be modified and turned into a more deep analysis as well. It's kind of like the smart starting point. No copying and pasting quotes from an Excel sheet into a PowerPoint. It's all there. That's my favorite. The other thing to mention about the interactive smart dashboard is to build on everything that Dan and Nick were talking about, is that we're adding AI analysis to the conversation task. So that's the first place we're going to start. So the conversation task is the task where you would have the most meaty, typically, a couple sentence answer or paragraph answer from participants, where we get to go a little deeper. We might talk about their process to do something, or we might have them talk about their memories, or we might ask them to tell a story. And so the AI is going to be added to then provide a 5-bullet summary of the top insights across all the people that answered. And that's the example of the question that's going to take the most time for a qualitative researcher to analyze, because there is so much information in it. So we're very excited to add that AI piece to provide that instant analysis of that question and speed up the analysis time for qualitative studies.
Awesome. No, that's great. And I know clients really love the smart dashboard. You talked about the 1-year anniversary, or just past the 1-year anniversary of QuestionPro acquiring DigCite. And I always remember that was one of the key factors, was the smart dashboard, and how much clients liked it. That was very much stressed, and I've seen it play out over this past year. So it's definitely a key component and something that clients really enjoy. Cool.
Thank you. I think that's it. Yeah.
All right. So we have time for some Q&A. I know there were questions submitted ahead of time, so I have some of those here. If you have questions as we are talking, or something comes to mind, feel free to put it in the comments. I'll display it on screen, and we will answer those live here. So a few questions came up. We had someone ask around, can we develop video-based survey forms so that we can capture the expressions of the candidate? Now, Jill, I know you mentioned that we can do this in DigCite with collecting the video response. We can also do this in the survey platform. There are a couple different ways you can collect video response from a respondent. So we have a question type called livecast, where you can include this in your survey, and then you can collect the video response. On the back end, we add in sentiment. We do a facial recognition and some coding there around different sentiment on the face, I guess you want to say. So different emotions, whether it's joy, whether you're tentative, happy, and so forth. So we do have a number of different question types that you can use for collecting video, and then depending on the analysis you want, or what the format you want it to be, we can do that as well. So a few other questions is, Kim had a question around, is QuestionPro building an AI module into the platform? If so, when will it be accessible? So Kim, hopefully we answered a lot of your questions today around what we're building in, what's available, and what's currently there. Yes, we are building, not so much an AI module, but AI into the platform. You'll see sometimes we refer to it as QXBot. That's largely some of the stuff we do on the survey side with the survey generator, some of the image generation. And we're doing it also on the analysis side with some of the products and platforms and getting this in. Nick mentioned on Insights Hub how we're integrating in AI. You can see it's vastly what's, I would say, key on the roadmap. And then also on the DigSite side as well, a lot of the things we're doing on the analysis side are with the AI. So this is more of a general question from someone here. How can generative research improve the quality of my research? So I think they mean, how can generative AI improve the quality of my research? I'll start, and then if you guys have any, anything to say on it, I would say it can improve it in a number of ways that we talked about here. But the best anecdote that I like to say, and that I've heard other people say too, is, use generative AI as like your best research assistant. If you have questions, if you want it to help you do some of those mundane tasks, use it for that, those purposes. I think that's some of the best way that it can improve it. And then I think in the analysis, some of the ways that it can improve it are just another lens or another set of eyes, so to speak, that can look at the data and maybe we'll uncover something that you didn't see initially, or that it can confirm what you saw. And it's just another way that you can help leverage another tool to get those insights. So Nick or Jill, I don't know if you have any comments on those as well. So feel free to go.
Yeah, I mean, as researchers, we should ideally try to come to our data sets and our questionnaire builds, with as little bias as possible. I think even our QXBot survey questionnaire has helped me build, or survey questionnaire builder has helped me build questionnaires that are better than they would have been if I had just kind of started from scratch. Not because I can't design a good survey on my own, but I kind of in the questionnaire based on what I want to see or what I think we're going to see. Obviously, an AI bot is not going to know what your biases are, and so what it comes up with, even if it's not what you end up launching when it comes to a questionnaire build, is really instructive. For me to say, okay, I wanted to do an employee satisfaction survey with these 2 or 3 little nuances. And this is what it came up with. I didn't think about those 2 extra things. Maybe I probably wouldn't have unless I saw it here. So yeah, like you said, it's kind of like a research partner. That's one of the many benefits is that it doesn't have the same kind of human biases that you might when you're looking at a data set, when you're looking for the biggest, what's the biggest trend here. If it doesn't point out the thing that you think is the big key finding here, maybe you might be wrong, and the bot could be right. So that's kind of how I think about it, at least the tools that we've released so far.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I think if you think about it as the bot is almost doing the legwork for you. If they're spending time reading the 50 conversation task responses and coming up with the 5 themes that they see, then my brain can then spend the time to bring those stories to life and dig into that more with the perspective that I see when I go through that second level of analysis. But it's saving the time and my energy towards that thinking and building story, as opposed to me using my time to read the 50 and, tally or whatever method I'm going to use to capture like those starting themes.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point, Jill. Really to leverage more of like the strategy. Like that's something that ChatGPT or generative AI, I don't think can replace that quite yet in terms of the context and the knowledge that you have in informing the strategy. And I think that can be leveraged across any researcher that's using, generative AI and how to think about it and so forth. So I think that's a perfect analogy. And one thing that's interesting to me is, even if this is kind of maybe off topic a little bit, but I'm going to talk about it, is around, can I trust what, ChatGPT or generative AI or AI, can I trust it essentially? Like, can I trust the results? Are they accurate? And what I would say to that is, even if like I coded something, I coded open ends, Nick coded open ends, Jill coded open ends, we would all come up with some similarities, but there'd all be some differences just in how we code it, how we look at different things and categories we put them into. And AI is going to be no different. Like you'll agree with some of it, maybe you won't agree with parts of it, but the summation of it should be pretty accurate. Just like if I would say if I wanted Nick to code something or Jill to code something, I would agree with what they said. I may not agree with like 100%, but we'd all be fairly accurate within our answers. And I think that it's sort of a good way to look at, sort of this generative AI or AI and using it to help code, not only code questions, but also just in terms of running analysis and looking at these different insights and some different ways to look at it there. So one other question that came up is, and how much uptake are you having on with users generating survey questions with generative AI? So this came from Randy. So again, I mentioned this a little bit as we were talking through the webinar. We've definitely seen an uptick in it. We've seen it being leveraged, and some of the tips that I've found and some of the things I've been seeing is the survey questions that come up are as good as the prompt, and this is true with any generative AI. The output, I believe, is only as good as the prompt, and the prompt that you put in it and what you call it to do, as the more specific it is, the better that the results will be, the better the question types will be. So I would say those are some of the things we've seen. And the uptick, I think, is not only people just trying it out to see, hey, is this something I just want to kind of try it out. I think we've been seeing clients that have been utilizing it for actual research and not just kind of playing it out or testing out the technology there. So we've definitely seen an uptick. And again, there's different ways you can utilize it, not only with creating a survey from scratch, but also with coming up with those questions that maybe you need some help or you want some different wording and inserting those questions into the survey. Those are some of the ways that I've seen an uptick in the usage of the automatic survey generator. So yeah, those are some of the ways I've seen it. And those were all the questions that we had. So I think, if you have questions that come up after this, feel free to reach out to us. We are always available, and we have many different channels that you can reach us on. All of these different social media platforms. I have a live show every Friday. We do newsletters, we do podcasts, and we're always out there. So feel free to connect with us. And if you have any additional questions, feel free to let us know or interact with our content. Always, we'll be talking about AI for the unforeseeable future for good reason, and a mix of different other topics as well. So with that, thank you everybody for joining. Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Jill. Appreciate it. And we'll go ahead and wrap it up today.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.